Hello. Today we focus on fairness, not superiority. What the United States must do to earn Africa's trust. If the United States is serious about becoming a meaningful long-term trade partner with Africa, it must begin not with contracts or tariffs, but with moral clarity. However, that moral clarity must not come from a place of superiority. It must come from humility, reflection, and accountability, starting from within its own borders. From the outside, the hypocrisy is clear. The very nation that champions liberty and justice for all continues to suppress its black citizens, many of whom are of direct African descendants, through systematic inequality, underinvestment in education, police brutality, and economic marginalization. In predominantly black neighborhoods, public schools routinely receive failing rates, job opportunities remain scarce, and healthcare access is substandard. Even the food sold in these black communities is nothing but unhealthy, genetically modified, expired. These are not isolated incidents. They form a pattern of structured neglect and, in many cases, repression. For African nations, the echoes are chilling. The ghosts of apartheid in South Africa and colonial brutality are still fresh. Watching a country that claim uphold democracy but display racial hierarchy at home sends the wrong message. When black lives are devalued in the United States, it casts doubt on America's capacity to honor African lives abroad. Therefore, America cannot enter Africa as a self-declared beacon of freedom. It must first deconstruct its own internal contradictions. True democracy starts at home with justice, equality, and dignity for all. Only then can the U.S. present itself as a trustworthy partner to African nations. Furthermore, only trade relationship must go far beyond transactional deals. Fairness in trade must include knowledge transfer. Without technology and intellectual empowerment, Africa remains stuck at the bottom of the value chain. The U.S. must support African institutions, engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs, not just sell them finished goods. Worker rights. Exploiting labor, whether in Africa or within American borders, is no partnership. It is neocolonialism. African workers must be treated with dignity, paid fairly, and protected by law. Environmental integrity. Africa's lands and ecosystems are not dumping grounds. Industrial deals must include commitment to sustainability, local training, and repatriative practice for any environmental impact. Human rights. America must reject any partnership that tolerates abuse. The world has been the shocking videos of Chinese employers physically abusing African workers. These acts of humiliation are not just criminal, they are deeply symbolic of global problem, a refusal to treat Africans as equals in their own land. Africa does not need new masters, it needs partners. The era of control, dominance, and quiet condensation must end. If the U.S. wants a seat at the African table, It must bring mutual respect, clean hands, and open books. It must see trade not as conquest but as co-creation. And above all, it must ensure that fairness is not just a currency transaction but a principle of humanity that is practiced both at home and abroad. Thank you very much. This is Abebe Nagash.